All right, guys, welcome back to another bonus episode for Show Your Work. Now, this is a Patreon exclusive because if I were to air this on YouTube, I would be copywritten, and I do not want my YouTube channel taken away, stricken, or anything crazy like that happening. Now, if you have checked my Instagram profile, you have seen that I've been a few places in Memphis. One of my favorite people to be around is my friends known as Sonidero Gótico. And as you can see by the card here, they are it is a trio of DJs. So shout out to DJ Malaleche. He was on a previous episode. And today I have none other than Kid Mestizo and Mariana, please do not hate me. I cannot roll my R's to save my life. So I have DJ La Femme Radicale.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, how are you?
You said really cool.
Perfectly.
I try. I can't. I have a speech impediment with R's, and my name is Larry, which is so hilarious. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, how are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing?
We're good. Thank you for the invitation. We are so happy to be here with you.
Absolutely.
And that the thing that you invite us, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're just chilling out right now.
Yes.
Just out of work and stuff.
Got you. Yeah, had some memories with you guys. For those who watched the last episode of Show Your Work, you might have wondered where this came from. And this was a fun night. I mean, I had candle wax burn my finger. It was quite the night. So,
Yes.
let's explain the story of this and why this is important. So, and as I say that, I feel like I hear the bat signal, and I feel like my co-host is about to appear. Is he about to appear? I think he is. Oh, there he is. Hey, Nelson. How are you?
I'm good. I'm about to fight CapCut in a steel cage match, but you know what? We're here.
We are here. So you arrived at the perfect time. I was explaining to the people that this is Kid Mestizo and La Femme Radicale because I cannot say ours.
I'm trying, man. I don't even speak Spanish like that. I'm trying to get Larry to brush up. I'm trying.
Well, hey, look,
trying.
We've been talking about this. I am bridging us together because Nelson, you are from Puerto Rico, and you guys originate from Mexico. So I'm bringing land and water together. I'm bringing
land and water together. Oh my God!
Now, Mariana, do you mind explaining the importance of this piñata and what took place when this piñata was raised that night?
Okay, yeah. So happy to talk a little bit about that special celebration that we had in Mexico every December. It's like a whole week of posadas that are like parties when the families or the neighbors do this kind of reunions in the house of someone, or maybe or sometime in the street. They close the street, and everyone there brings like their own food to share to everyone. And we had the piñatas. That part that you had is from a piñata, with some candies or fruit. We had like this traditional drink that it's the candies, traditional candies, of course. And this traditional drink that it's called ponche. It's like a drink made of fruit, like hot and sweet. It's really, really awesome. I love it.
It tastes amazing.
Amazing. And that day, the ponche was made by Kid Mestizo. So shout out to him that he did a really great job with the ponche. And other thing that it's so funny, it's called like all the people divide into teams, and some of them are outside and another inside of the house. and they sing as a traditional song for the peregrinos, that
Pilgrims.
pilgrims.
Yeah.
Yes, pilgrims. Thank you. And the song, it's almost like, let me in your house, let me get in, please.
It's
It's all like all about
it's a
to,
little bit like the story of the birth of Jesus.
yes,
Okay.
So that's a kind of a little story, and it's more like a ceremony and like a ritual kind of thing. But
Okay.
it's very fun.
yeah.
It has been there like for years. And
Some people do this like a really traditional way,
Mhm.
uh, because Jesus, all that stuff.
Hmm.
But some other people, it's like it's part of this kind of posadas, and it's a little bit fun, like do this activity and sing, and then everyone just share moment and laugh, and with the candle in your hand, and sing the song. Like I don't know how explain a little bit more, because you need to be there and
yeah,
like Larry, and see that in life to see what it is, or maybe in some
Hmm.
videos you can find
For sure.
the original
There's
song that actually is really long. It's a song that it's really
yeah.
long, and the people go all over the street and come back and sing, and but here we make the short version of that.
yeah,
It was fun. It was really fun. What was also fun, not really fun, but it was fun, was me and Caesar set the pinata up, and yeah, it kept on falling. We had to like
yeah.
pull it down and hold it like this. Like, yeah, it was quite an
No,
adventure to get
I
that.
heard you almost. No, I'm joking. I was gonna say almost
Oh,
just kill somebody, but
no, the pinata beat me up
Yeah.
because first of all, she spun me around 10 times, and
that's how it
then
works. Last time I
no,
seen.
everybody was getting spun around like 2 times. I was the one that was like, no, spin me around 10 times. Then the pinata was like right here, I guess. So like it
Yeah,
just kept going up and down. So like it just kept just boom and then boom, boom, boom. So it's just hitting me in the
First
face.
off for everything.
And I'm
yes,
holding like I was just happy to like the reason I kept this is because I was like I cracked that pinata. I'm keeping a piece of this
No, you got to
pinata
keep it.
forever.
Remind you where you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So yeah,
So I
really,
have a question. So
yes,
sure.
like, what do you guys call it? You call it a ponche, right?
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So it's just at one place. Like you don't go to like different people's houses and then end it. Because like, I'm Puerto Rican, right? So we
Yes,
Mhm.
call it. I don't know if you ever heard of what a parranda is.
yes.
Mhm.
A
Okay,
friend told
so
us
all right, so like I don't know if I ever explained this to you, but it's kind of similar, but not really. So pretty much it starts late at night, right?
yes,
You get a
Mhm.
bunch of people, you go to somebody's house, you have to
yes.
Yeah.
sing and sing all types of stuff. They call them asalto navideños.
Mhm.
So I
Okay,
don't know if
okay.
you ever seen the Hector Lavoe Willie Colon album.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's that
Okay.
Oh,
they all the Christmas music is based off that. So they sing songs.
okay.
Then you go to somebody's house, they offer you food and drinks. Then that group goes to somebody's house, sing food and drinks. Then they go to somebody else's house,
Oh
and then you
wow,
follow, and then you end at one house where everybody's at, and then it pretty much goes into like the morning, pretty much
wow.
What?
Yeah,
after during Christmas. I only did one, but my dad told me they did a lot when he was younger. He said he used to hate that shit. He said after 2:30, he'd be like, "Yo, like I ain't doing this no more.
And
I'm
I
going to
think
sleep."
that's a hardcore version.
yes,
More or less, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was just really excited to have them on because
Of course.
typically in the past when I've hung out with them, like I'd be like, oh, like this is great, but I have to go home. I have to record
Yeah.
because we record Show
Yeah.
Your Work on Thursdays.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because like every time I go over there, they're like, "How are you not cold?" You're like, I'm like, no, for real, no, for real.
Yeah.
So It's always fun. But yeah, I mean, you guys know them from, again, I shared the video of them at WYXR recently. So,
no, it was great to watch.
you know, that big round of applause for them for that. That was such a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. I mean, knowing where they started and where they came from, I mean, that was amazing. So
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
yeah, it was pretty funny because again, I saw they took over a host slot, and I remember seeing their host slot at Sony Duro too, and I was like, okay, they're kind of sticking out. Like they're here, like they're not here enjoying themselves like everybody else. I can tell when somebody's like not a part of the usual crowd. But
Right.
shout out to them. It was a fun experience, and you know, hopefully we'll see what happens. I know Mariana, you were down for the WYXR Fest doing makeup, so salute to you for that.
Thank you.
And you know, Caesar, you're always doing great art pieces. So, you know, again, thank you guys both for taking out time. So, the one thing I think that's going to bring us all together is we all have a big, big appreciation for 80s music.
Yes.
Yep.
Mariana, aquí tienes el
Sorry.
recordatorio.
It's okay. mine was doing that earlier, so we're good. But yeah, we have a big appreciation for 80s music.
Yeah.
And
Y'all do.
You do. No, you do too. No,
I do too, to a degree. Okay. I mean, I
no,
do.
No, you do too. No.
I want to say this before we start, because Larry shares a lot of y'all stuff and tells me a lot about it. So like, I'm a supporter from a distance. So it was my first time meeting. So it's an absolute pleasure, and I'm a fan of both y'all work, whether there's DJ or art. I do appreciate it. I listened to a lot of this stuff as a kid. Like for me, I was exposed to a lot musically. Like my dad was a musician. My mom saying she DJs too. She does a lot more like R&B and funk stuff, but she's like 80s house. And then my dad was more, then it's salsa and all the crazy stuff. So like I've been exposed to like everything. And I guess me, you know, being in New York, like it's not that it's not normal, but it's like, it's a lot. Like I'll be like, I'll tell Larry, I listen to that. He's like, you listen? I'm like, brother. Yes.
Vice versa. He's surprised when I know stuff. Like, he's like, how do you know this? Like,
about this shit.
Yeah.
Who told you about this?
Yeah, the last episode, we literally had a moment where we both knew who Swing Out Sister was, and I was the only person that got the joke. And I was like, yes. So yeah. So I saw they were doing a documentary on Yacht Rock. So being that we all love this, I thought this would be a good podcast to have as we watch this and see who we notice, talk about our first time discovering this stuff. And, I know you guys specifically, Mariana, this is a big part of your DJ sets, but I mean, it's sometimes, you like to go with different, it's not just typical, it is a good mix. So I've seen Mariana DJ, God. Whoo! Like 7 times, probably something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Like 7 times. I know the last 2 for sure. Of course, the radio station, Sonny Dura Gothico 1 and 2, the wedding, the
wedding, of course.
The wedding. Yeah, Por Vida. Yeah, so can't wait to see the next set. And of course, I've seen Caesar DJ maybe like 3 times for sure. I know 3 times for sure. So yeah, because what'll happen is like every time I would get there, like you would just finish up, and I'd be like, "Damn it! Like, damn it, I missed him." But so yeah, it would be just as many times. But yeah, but let's get into this documentary, see who we recognize, and have a good conversation about music that we like. And hopefully for you guys listening, you learn a little bit too. I'm down to learn some things. Let's find out. So I did have a few questions for y'all before we get up out of here.
Sure thing.
So watching this doc, as we gave our own commentary, what was something new that you learned by watching this doc? I want to start with Caesar and Mariana first.
Definitely the relevance of McDonald's, because in Mexico, we were like related to all the genre and the music in general, but in my point of view, I didn't know that he was like like a huge thing in the US.
Yes.
So for me, that would be the main
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. In my case too. Actually, uh, I was listening all the 70s music, but in the disco and the funk through my mom, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was too young, and it was the most popular bands or popular songs that we always hear in the radio or in the TV or in the movies, right? The soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Yacht Rock, the same. I all the bands that I knew in that time was like Toto or the Eagles, um, but I didn't know the same that McDonald was really huge because
Kenny.
yeah, eh?
And Kenny.
And Kenny, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally, because yeah, it's not the same that the things that you hear here in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Beside the music that we hear in Mexico in that time. It was like different. I think it's always different, or it came in different years, not in the big moment here in US. It's not the same that in Mexico. Maybe in Mexico it's like 1 or 2 years after.
Yeah,
I don't
there
know.
was like a little delay, like
Yes, yes, with the music and
from
everything.
the hits and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I know some guys that well, in Mexico City we have a like a little market, uh like a flea market. It's more like a flea market
Okay.
in it's called El Chopo. So all the music that people had like in Tijuana, that they buy some stuff from LA or whatever.
Okay.
San Diego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they usually go through Tijuana, and then from Tijuana it goes to a lot of places. And one of the places, it was Mexico City. So all the music that people buy from the US ended in that flea market. So that's like the kind of that's the delay of the music. Besides the radio stations and stuff, that was like the path of music in Mexico City.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nelson. Great answers, guys, by the way.
No,
Great
those are
answers.
incredible answers.
Phenomenal answers.
My first one is that Kenny Loggins said "This Is It" was the shitty song. That's insane. He's out of his
He's
mind.
not gonna get over this.
Because, man, like, what if Fool is their first song? And he said, "We got to make a shitty song." And said, "Yeah, this is it, shitty." Here you go, man. When you're that great, you could call stuff like that shitty, man. My second one would be that I thought Yacht Rock was something from like the '90s or something. I didn't know it was from that whole web series. Because I always attribute. Okay, this might sound crazy, but it probably won't. Me and Larry, we talk similarly, so like Yacht Rock was like Yacht Rock was UI white boy music. That's what I
Mhm.
always thought of it as. It was
Yes.
like right, like unless it's me, it's like nah,
Oh,
like there would be like your usual artists that you would hear, and then you would hear this, and then you'd be like, okay, cool, like I can see. Then you find out like what where they came from. You're like, oh shit, oh he got
Yeah,
soul or like whatever. So
yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know. I didn't know. I thought Yacht Rock was like a late '90s type of thing, but I didn't know it came from like that web series.
yeah.
Um,
yes.
my third one will probably. It's not really an unknown fact, but I think it's more so of how collaborative they all were. Because
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
usually, like when it comes to any scenes of music, everybody gets like. There's always like a spirit of competition, but then it gets too competitive to the point that like it's this person doesn't like this person and that person didn't like the way, they took this from that. Like the only people who seemed like, I don't want to say competitive, but more like, I guess hard-nosed about their shit, like aside from everybody, was Steely Dan, which I could tell, like just their demeanor, how they were, I could tell like, they were like that. But I think it's just more of, I know how Michael McDonald was everywhere and Kenny Loggins was everywhere. Just me and like you guys as well, like being people who read liner notes and like to read that type of stuff. So it kind of like, even though it's like about it, it's still like a damn, they were all over the place. Like it's like they lived next to each other. Like they were just on the same studio. They heard one thing, somebody jumped in, did something here, and then this, that, and the third. So I just think I'm not shocked that they were collaborative, how much they collaborated. I'm shocked that like how often and how much they collaborated and how much it wasn't like it didn't turn into a pissing contest. And an ego contest between each other. It was just like, nah, we making good music. That's it. Hey, you need help with this? Cool. And that, it wasn't too much of a competition like other scenes turned out, have their issues and why,
totally
break off the way they do. So I mean, those are my main 3 takeaways. But number 1 is still, this is it being a shitty song. I'm sorry. If I ever meet Kenny Loggins, I'm asking him that. I'm gonna ask him why he thought that was shitty. But I'm sorry.
I wasn't surprised too much because I mean, being a big Steely Dan music fan, I didn't say the people, but music fan. I would hear. And I'd be like, is that Michael McDonald in the background? Like, no, I'm tripping. And then I go look it up and I was like, wait a minute, that was actually Michael McDonald in the background. So like going back and listening to that and then like seeing this, I'm really mainly surprised. I felt like it, but seeing the confirmation that they confirmed they were heavily influenced by what Motown was doing, by what Earth, Wind and Fire was doing. Like, the soul and it makes more sense, but sometimes you have to hear it from the horse's mouth. One thing I learned that I knew but I also had to see to believe, that 3-minute part of the documentary where they were just shading the fuck out of MTV was so funny because it's like,
it makes sense though.
Yeah, and it's like, I get these guys want to just like let the music go, but then at the same time, like, technology evolved and we want to see, we see the performances. So it's like, just do a video of these performances. And I know some of those music videos back then are like hilarious to watch, like, but it's funny when you see like how that, it's not funny, but it's crazy when you kind of see like how it deterred some careers or like some things changed because of that. So that was pretty interesting because even, like Rick James and other few people were hesitant to MTV, whereas like Prince, Michael, and others like Madonna, were like, okay. Yeah, Madonna. I mean, the shade they gave to Cyndi Lauper was hilarious. Now, I laugh every time I watch the video of We Are the World and she's just going off and Mike's just looking at her and he's just like, he's just like, he's like, you really gonna do this to me after I just sung my heart out and you just sing like this? Yeah,
is it the same video where Bob Dylan, it's like he seems like he doesn't care?
Yes. It's like like every great singer artist ever is in the studio and it's like everybody's doing their thing and then Cyndi Lauper, well, we just come back, and then Michael just
looking at her like, yo, what are you doing?
You can see Mike stare through his shades and it's crazy because he's got pitch black shades on, but you can just feel Michael just saying, I don't want to be here right now. I promise I would just rather be in the studio.
Cyndi Lauper was in nice terms. She was scaring the hoes.
Yes.
If I was in that room, I would have been scared. Like,
yes. And she's such a great, like for her time, she's phenomenal. But it's like
WWE Hall of Fame with Cyndi Lauper. Like,
it's great. But it's also like when you try to put, some of these artists today that you could tell are like manufactured and not truly, it's all, made up. It's not what it's supposed to be. Like, there's a few, like I know earlier we talked about she mentioned how she loves Dua Lipa and Jungle and some of these people, right? But it's like if you put some of these artists that like you can tell a label just like, oh, we'll just put some, effects on it and it'll sound good. When you hear it live, it's like, it don't hit the same.
It's not hit the same.
Yeah.
I will say too, you talked about the shade. I like how they embraced hip hop to a degree. Because I was like, but they were like, nah, it was cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's an hour and a half doc, so they couldn't get into like, how, there's the underground, like how Mexico, it helped influence the alternative wave there. And then of course, some of those songs are remade for reggaeton and stuff like that.
A lot of the rock stuff too, definitely. Yeah, because what's funny? I started listening to like. Actually, Larry, I told you about this when I started listening to Mana again for some reason because my parents listened to Mana, but like I knew who they were, but like I wasn't like I knew who they were, but that's the furthest. And then like I kind of started listening to like Mana, like what's the other group? Damn, starts with a C. Is it Caifanes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was listening to like that type of different scene, and I always thought like Mana, like. Now that watching this and then listening to like, because I listened to their first 3 albums, I think, or 4, but like it sounds like Sting and the Police-ish, but like I could hear some of the Yacht Rock stuff too, like from like it's rock, like it's their flavor, but like I can. It's always fun listening to like a lot of artists' first 2 to 3 albums. You could hear like a lot of their influences.
Yes.
When you listen to a lot of people's stuff, so not like it made sense. Now listening to this, I'm like, it has a little Yacht Rock. It sounds a little bit more Stingish, but I can hear the Yacht Rock influences.
Definitely, it's more pop. It's like rock pop. It's funny that when we came here, the first parties that we went together, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, the Spanish rock," and they put only Maná, and it was like.
Oh man!
What?
The perception that we have in Mexico, about Maná is like it's more like pop kind of thing. I know that they have like rock influences and all that stuff because also one of the guitarists that was in their 2 or 3 first albums, it was like a huge guitarist back then, like the real underground scene, and then but they still doing like very pop kind of thing and ballad songs. So it was weird like coming here and hey, do you like rock? And we were like, well, yeah, I'm into rock, and they put some Maná thing, and I was like, what is that rock?
I get that.
And not only one song, like 5 songs of Maná, and that's why I like it because I grew up. My big brother used to like a lot Maná and listen to a lot, and I grew up with that. So I hear that songs, and it's like I remember that time and my brother. That's the kind of thing. But talking about really Spanish rock, there are other bands that are really representative of the Mexican Spanish rock scene, but Maná no, Maná don't. But we understand too why.
Right.
Now, hold on. Now, this is the same exact way that Puerto Ricans like Nelson feel when you talk about reggaeton and it's Colombian reggaeton. Because when they start talking about reggaeton and the first person they bring up is J Balvin, just watch Nelson's face and see.
This is how you know we're good friends, because we know trigger words. Because if I bring up 21 Savage, he's gonna catch an aneurysm. See? Nah, it's just. But yeah, like it's a similar thing too. Like it's like, but I can see the Maná thing, and I can understand because it's like But it's like even saying like I actually listen to all 5 of the albums like on a random whim because I get into the
Mhm.
I listen to somebody's discography. I don't know what else to listen to. I can only listen to so much 90s New York rap that because I grew up in it. So like whatever. So I'm like, listen, I'm like, yeah, I get it because like they sounded mad punkish and just one album it just turned into like Message in a Bottle, and I'm like, oh.
Mm.
Roxanne and fucking every little thing she does is magic and all that go like this stuff. So
Yeah. I
makes sense.
will ask before we get out of here. Now that we've seen this documentary, and I think they did a fantastic job, especially showing the true Donald Fagen to the world, because he said, "Yeah, yeah, I get why he feels that way, but don't take it out on all of us and Peter Guns." Yeah, what is a subgenre or genre of music in general, especially because we're going into 2025 now, that you would like to see covered similar to this, or to get retrospective appreciation on a bigger scale? Like what would be a genre for you personally that you feel like should get like that?
I'll let Cesar Mariana go first because I got to really think about that. That's
I'll
from
start.
the
I'll
audience.
start. I'll
Yes,
start.
yes,
Make it
I
easy.
do.
I'll start.
Yeah.
I really want people to go back and realize how phenomenal new wave is.
Oh.
New wave, I know it kind of seems like just like sad poppy ballads, but it's really a whole lot more than that. I mean, it's funny because me and Nelson, like, we had a joke about I'm gonna tell you like why it's funny. So like for both of our friend groups. So like with me and Nelson, right? We laughed because we were talking about Tears for Fears,
Mm-hmm.
and how we love, one thing we like about streaming now is when you go and you look at these albums, they're putting the extended albums out now. And with the extended albums, you get to these versions that like the radio single might have been 3 minutes, but like the full everything is like 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need all the sounds.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So like me and Nelson were laughing about that. But then even when I went to Sonidero Gótico, when I forget the name of the band that's from New York that Mala played, where they played their version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yes.
That version. And it's like that song has been stuck in my head for like 5 months now. So yeah. So that's something I wish people would go back and realize, like, it really is a lot of great stuff there. Because I know, like, you hear Duran Duran and it might not be for everybody, but I think that the cars are underrated. I think that Billy Idol, I know people know Billy Idol, Billy Joel, but if you really go back and listen, it's like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, like later King Crimson, and like it's a lot. It's a lot. I wish people would go back and really just get an appreciation for it. So I'll say new wave for sure. I mean, the Police are the Police, but it's a couple art, from that time period. Like, I'm a Spandau Ballet truther. Yes, DJ Cass, I'm a Spandau Ballet truther. And yeah, so I would say new wave artists.
Yes, totally. I think I'm agree. You agree with that because especially I'm a big fan of Depeche Mode. That's another kind of band that,
I'm a Depeche Mode truther. Let's go.
I have my tattoo here.
Oh, that's tough. I do have Violator on vinyl because I found it randomly. I was like, no, I gotta buy it.
Actually, I love all the records. But one of my biggest one is Black Celebration. It's like not the one of the first ones, but not of the latest. It's like in the middle and has this like dark vibe that I love so much. But the thing with the Depeche Mode, new wave and synth wave that I really love it, and I'm agree with Larry. It's like for and with the Depeche Mode, the thing that they has like this career like really different, because in the first record was Vince Clark, and this record was like a really more electronic,
Like pop,
more pop and more
dancey.
happy,
Yep.
danceable. I love that era of Depeche Mode. But then when Vince Clark is out, and they had like this dark era, and
Yep.
more like with industrial
Sounds.
sounds and electronic vibes too, but
Mm.
are like really amazing. For me, it's one of the bands
Yep.
that it's like really representative of that genre. Even New Order, I love New Order
New
too.
Order. Yeah.
Another
Yaz too.
big one.
Hmm.
And
Yazoo or Yaz.
of
So
course, Duran Duran. It's like all that bands from the 80s, from the new wave, synthwave genre, was really, really amazing. And I will love that the people can look again in that
That direction. Yeah.
direction again, and appreciate it, the good things about this genre, because yeah, it's amazing.
I might add like a little bit more like into maybe post punk kind of thing or gothic rock. That it's that thing that I was into it like so hard, like back then,
Mariana,
and it
aquí
was
tienes el recordatorio.
it was crazy because
very good.
there is a huge scene in it used to be a huge scene in Spain, like from the movida madrileña. It's the name of the. It was like it's not the genre. It was more like about calling the scene like that way, like the
It's like the
movida.
movement. It's like the
Yes,
movement. Yeah,
yeah. So
that makes
there
sense.
was like 30 bands like coming out of nowhere about like gothic rock stuff and post punk and it was crazy because when in England was you can hear like Six in the Banshees or Bauhaus or Love and Rockets and all that big bands. In Spain there was like Parálisis Permanente, Caca Deluxe, and Los Pegamoides. There
Mm.
was also like a big scene over there. So I wish like if somebody has the rights to do that kind of documentary, that would be amazing because
Yes.
there used to be a big scene in Spain
Mhm.
back then in the 80s.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, Nelson.
All right. First of all, I want to say shout out to Depeche Mode. I have to say it again.
Yeah.
I actually like what Vince Clark did with Yaz, even though it's like a one album thing. My mother
Yeah.
Yes.
played the shit out of fucking Upstairs at Eric's. So like Situation has been stuck in my head. It's a core memory. I love that song. But anywho. It Only was great, and that IC, all that great album. If I had to go with scenes, huh, I would probably go. I would like a good jungle drum and bass early 90s to 95 rave scene.
Okay.
Like, because those records are not easy to find in streaming. Like, a lot of that I did through like YouTube and like just hearing them sometimes, like randomly getting played and figuring them out and going through, because a lot of the stuff is heavily sampled. So it's like, I'm
Hmm.
trying to think I'm trying to think like who was in that scene that's like that I could mention, like Bomb Scared by like Two Blind Mice, um Sons of a Loop de Loop era, like that, like super abstract. You have to really look for it to find it scene. But like in the 90s to like the mid 90s, that was like a big thing, especially in Europe. So that's one. A reggaeton, I mean, they did one kind of with Amazon. I don't think they're gonna do it because of that damn lawsuit for a while. So we're probably not gonna get that because you
Wow.
know that whole lawsuit's happening with Steely Klein and Steely. Oh, I always forget their damn names. I know who they are, but Clive and Steely with the beat. So that's probably not gonna happen. I'm trying to think who else. What's a good? I would like a freestyle one. It would be short, but I'd be interested to see because that was like such a mix of like R&B and like what was going on like in like New York City at that time. So that's one. Even dancehall too. Like dancehall in itself, not just like regular dancehall, but like there's a lot of like there's an interesting cross pollination because this is very niche. So just this is just what I feel, but like in like where like in New York like in the 90s, there's such an interesting cross pollination of like dancehall, reggaeton, and hip hop in one
Wow.
area of Brooklyn.
Whoa.
So like if you ever realize like the 90s stuff is like the noise and stuff, like the noise and like
Mhm.
DJ Eric and all, they all went to Brooklyn to like really cut their teeth like in New York. And that's why if you ever see all them reggaeton videos, they're all filming it in like in New York and Flushing Meadows Park because like they will all go to a certain part of New York. I think it was Crown Heights,
Okay.
where like you could hear like a lot of like dance hall, like a lot of Caribbean in general.
Mhm.
Caribbeans in general move to that area. So like every time like I listen like to dance hall, it always reminds me of like driving around the area because that's all I heard. So like that cross pollination is like something small that I would like to hear, but definitely like that house drum and bass jungle hardcore breakbeat, like how they were to get that whole era because it's niche, but like if you hear like Pink Panthers now, she samples a lot of that stuff and Georgia.
Mhm.
Larry, come on, just don't make me laugh, Larry. Oh
Nah, it's fine.
man. Like obviously like Georgia Smith samples it to a degree. But like yeah, I would love to hear like like Bizarre Inc, SL2, Two Blind Mice, Moby to a degree, the Prodigy's early stuff. Like
Yeah.
their first album is like that jungle hardcore breakbeat type of stuff.
Man.
So I would like to hear something from like that scene. Um, and then there's one city wise I want a Memphis hip hop documentary. I know a lot about it,
Mhm.
and I don't know if
But
it'll ever happen.
we're
But
trying, man. We're trying. We're trying.
because
We're
like
trying.
I'm from New York, so
It's
like
tough.
Larry and I
It's
we've had
tough.
when Larry and I first met, we had this discussion. I'm from New York, right? But I listen to everything. I'm not like my core is New York City, but I'll listen to West Coast stuff. I'll listen to South stuff. I'll listen to Midwest. I listen to everything. But from the South, even though I listen to like Atlanta stuff, I always gravitated to Memphis stuff more.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It reminds me like a lot of like the 90s, mid 90s New York stuff that I listened to. Even though Atlanta had good stuff, but a lot of like the visceral underground, like the stuff I like, Memphis's music at that time
Mhm.
kind of is similar to that more. So it'll be
Okay.
that. And then eventually I would want a Queensbridge documentary just on the music that spanned from Queensbridge. So like I will like I don't know if they'll ever do it because if like Nas is from Queensbridge, Mobb Deep is from Queensbridge, or Prodigy's not here anymore, and
Yeah.
like just like that whole genesis of like that whole scene in its own thing. But then again, all those people fought each other just like Memphis. So I don't know if we're ever gonna get that, but I would like that. But definitely like that the house, like the drum and bass house jungle breakbeat. Like I want something from that era because it's just so
Yeah.
obscure and such a like an interesting thing because we don't know where those people are. That was all pirate radio and
Mhm.
Yeah.
all
All
that
of that.
obscure. You got to go through
Yeah.
YouTube and go find mixes and hunt those
Yeah.
down. So
Well,
that's definitely my type of thing I want to hear.
well, the good thing is, I've learned that there is something for everybody, and
There
I
is.
also learned that if you look hard enough, you will find your tribe. And I'm thankful for meeting different people, learning and picking up different music from people. I know when Nelson put me on to more reggaeton, and I would hear Raul Alejandro and Tokisha and a few others. When I would hear it out, I'd be like, oh, like I could point to Nelson in my head and be like, like I was prepared for this. So,
I was talking
no, because all right. So true story, when I was at Cynthia's wedding, right? Mariana was like, okay, what song do you want to hear? And I was like, come on, it's Zion Lennox, yo boy. And she was like, send me the song. So I sent her the song. She was like, okay, bet. And then she's like, yeah, I got this. And then literally she played the song. It was a great time. Crazy. So again, but also because of Mariana and because of Sis, I'm gonna try to pronounce this, because if I mess this up, please don't hate me for this.
Sorry, we got.
But but because of them, I've gotten into a lot of 80s Latin alternative rock, post-punk, like Los Enanitos en la Muralla Verde.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like that. Los Prisioneros, Tren al Sur, like things like that. Like,
I remember you telling me about Tren al Sur. Yeah.
No, Tren al Sur. Tren al Sur, like, yeah, it's great. So
we do a lot of music trading, Larry and I. So
yeah,
nice.
For sure. But that's the best friends to have, So I just want to wrap up by saying, again, I'm thankful to have you guys on today. And as I get up out of here, so I can visually show the people watching this, make sure you follow my guys and girl on Instagram, because kid_mestizo. See the original art there, which he's very, very good at what he does, even with the murals. I mean, to this day, this is at Stop 345. Legendary place out here. Yes. So shout out to him. Make sure you follow Mariana on her page at La Femme Radicale DJ.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Okay. Yes. All right. And again, big shout out earlier to Lauren and to Cole from WYXR, DJ Baby, and Life on Deck. So from Life on Deck and Valley on Dolls, which 2 different slots, but same radio station, 6 to 7 p.m. Memphis time on Friday and 12 to 2 p.m. Memphis time on Sundays. Great mix. She will throw anything from 80s music to a Project Pat mix on hers. And Cole,
that's my tribe.
Yeah, and Cole's there.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff. Larry's put me on some stuff. So but I mean, I follow y'all through the pod page for Show Your Work Network. It's me who does it, because I have a personal Instagram, but I do not use it. So if you follow me, I will not respond to your friend request. I don't use that shit at all. But the podcast one, I will interact. If you hit DM, I will answer you back. Trust me.
You have to. We have to say that because people get confused on who it is. So if you see anything from the pod page, it is not from me. It's from
It's likely me. It's
99% chance it's from. Yeah, if it's from me, I'll do a dash Larry or something, so it's from me. But yeah,
I work the administrative duties of this podcast.
Yeah. But we're all one band, one sound.
But we're all admin, but social media, I happen to be the admin on that.
And again, shout out to the homie Mala Leche. It was funny watching you guys take this picture, because he was the guy, photographer. He was like, "Hey, stick the foot out," and she's like, "Okay." She stuck the boot out. And now, mind you, they took this picture after, because I forget the young lady's name, but she had brought the wine to the radio station. So so they were a little buzzed. And then I remember looking down, I was like, wow, I love these boots because they're so fucking big. I love her boots.
That's funny.
No, because usually I'm I was like, you are taller today. I didn't notice, but yeah.
Oh my God.
No, we we all, as you can see, Nelson, I'm the same person with everybody.
No, I know that.
So yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
But
sorry. When I get to Memphis, we'll make sure we'll link up
for sure. And again, make sure you follow Mariana on her page as well, Mariana M Vegan, where she shows off everything from her music taste to what she's reading to vegan selections for all my people that are like, how can we be vegan and be good? And, everything in between. And most importantly, save the animals. So, yes. So, she gets into all of that. So,
for sure.
That's all I've got. Guys, thank you so
thank
much,
you guys.
Nelson.
That was
Thank
really
you so
fun.
much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. You're always welcome to come back whenever.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, you can. My Twitter is here. That's my personal. That's usually what I tweet. Use the most personal social media wise.
Okay.
Instagram is the usual. Oh, Larry, I forgot. Documentary. A 90s mixtape documentary. I need all clue for a lot of like the mixtapes in the 90s for especially for New York was like a genesis of like a lot of rappers like artists getting blown. So like DJ Clue, if you probably heard of DJ Clue, Tony Touch, Ron G, SNS, Kid Capri, Doo-Wop. I almost forgot Doo-Wop. That's just I would have got cursed out. Yeah, fun flex to a degree. But yeah, that scene is very important too. Thank you for all the platforms like YouTube that still have those songs. So it was interesting to see, But yeah, definitely that on that scene as well. But for sure. But then most importantly, thank you guys for coming. This was great. We gotta do more of this. And I'm honored.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll just end by you guys know I don't drink, so salute.
I drink my beer already.
Oh, and yeah, Nelson, definitely hit them up because I'm pretty sure they can give you some good like local IPA recommendations, and then I can give them to you too.
Yeah.
Yep. Anytime.
Yeah, definitely. I'm out of town. Well, whenever this comes out, Fourth Wall, I will be back in New York for Christmas. So I will buy more for the new year. I'm just drinking Medallas because it's Puerto Rican beer, and that's
yeah.
All right, guys, make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure that they follow our platforms because you never know what 2025 will hold for the four of us. But until then, thank you all for checking this out, including our this is the real director's commentary right here. So more on the way. Just stay tuned. But until then, we're out of here. Peace.
Bye.